making me all that I can be. I'll keep on trusting in the one who never will give up on me. Never ever gonna give up, never gonna give up on me. I'll keep on trusting in the one who never will give up on me. Never ever gonna give up, never gonna give up on me. You're always with us, you never said you had enough. You never give up no matter what comes. You're always faithful and you're more than able. You'll always finish what you've begun. Oh, you're never gonna quit working on me. Oh, making me all that I can be. I'll keep on trusting in the one who never will give up on me. Never ever gonna give up, never gonna give up on me. I'll keep on trusting in the one who never will give up on me. Never ever gonna give up, never gonna give up on me. You never tire or sleep, you're always faithful to me. In everything you begin, you will complete it. You never tire or sleep, you're always faithful to me. In everything you begin, you will complete it. Oh, you're never gonna quit working on me. Oh, making me all that I can be. I'll keep on trusting in the one who never will give up on me. Never ever gonna give up, never gonna give up on me. I'll keep on trusting in the one who never will give up on me. Never ever gonna give up, never gonna give up on me. Yeah, yeah. You're never gonna quit working on me, making me all that I can be. Oh, you're never gonna quit working on me, working on me, working on me.
We can shine a light, we can be our voice, we can make our difference and change the world. The greatest of all is the one who serves. So God, we give our lives to serve you faithfully. Yeah. We wanna be your hands and feet.
that's all we have for today. Thanks for stopping by. And that's how we say hello when we celebrate opposite day. I'm gonna try to be completely still and not jump around and show you how excited I am to be celebrating this lesson with you today. And just be still. I can't do this opposite thing. Oh, I don't know. It was too hard not to jump around and show you how excited I am about this new lesson. Spring is here. We already talked about summer, we talked about winter, and what comes next? Spring, of course. So we're not in spring yet. We're still in the cold winter. But I love spring. I can't wait for spring. Spring is like God's way of waking the world up after it's been taking a long winter nap. I love how spring is like a new beginning for everything because during winter everything dies. So spring is a time for everything to just grow back and be brand new. I can't wait for spring. So as you can see, I have these items right here that reminds us of spring. And during these lessons, we have been having you guys figure out the big idea before I tell you the big idea. So we're gonna find these things, so make sure you keep your eyes open throughout the entire lesson, and you can find these pop up here and there, and your job to put together the big idea. So, are you guys up for the challenge?
Yay!
I think you guys can do it. It is memory verse time. Do you know our memory verse yet? Do I? Let's see. Well, as you know, our memory verse comes from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. And it says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." So throughout this lesson, we have been doing a memory verse game with me. And I have been losing every one of them. But today is going to be different. I am going to win. Hopefully. Let's make sure. Okay, so I am going to put together this memory verse, and I'm going to be timed for 60 seconds. Now, it sounds easy, but there's more steps to it. Our memory verse are in these eggs. I have to open these eggs, put the memory verse in order, and put the eggs in order too, because if you can see, we have an orange mixed with a green egg. That's not right. So I have to fix that too in under 60 seconds. Do you guys think I can do it?
Yay!
I hope so. Okay, are we ready? Set, go. Oh yeah, I got the first one. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I am on a roll. I am on a roll. Oh, that's the end. I dropped one! Egg down! Egg down! For my grace is sufficient. For my power. Egg down! Yes! Oh no! Oh man! Okay. I almost did it. I just had one more. No, I didn't. Let's just put it together. Where's my other one? My grace is sufficient. It's okay. missing one, but that is okay. I've tried my best. I know my memory verse. I have learned it. So I think that's a success. Okay, so our Bible story comes from Luke chapter 6, verse 27 through 45. Now, it's not coming from us. It's coming from kids like you. So make sure you keep your eyes closed throughout this whole lesson. See you later, maybe.
The things Jesus taught continue to amaze people. They'd never heard anything like it before.
He taught people how to act and react in ways that seemed opposite of what was normal, especially when it came to how to treat others.
Jesus said this, "To those who are ready to hear the truth, I say this. Love your enemies."
Let them bring out the best in you instead of the worst. When someone gives you a hard time, respond by praying for them. If someone slaps you in the face, stand there and take it.
If someone grabs your shirt, gift wrap your best coat and make a present of it. If someone takes unfair advantage of you, use the occasion to practice giving. Live generously.
If you aren't sure how to act, there's a simple rule to follow. Ask yourself how you want someone to treat you. Then do that for them.
Do you think you are special for loving someone who loves you first? Anyone could do that.
Do you think you deserve a medal for helping someone you know will help you the next time? Even stingy people do that.
Instead, I tell you to love your enemy. Help someone without expecting anything in return. You will never regret it, I promise.
Live out this God-given life the way our Father lives toward us, generously and full of grace, even when we are at our worst.
Our Father is kind, so you should be kind too. Don't pick on people. Point out their failures or criticize their faults. Kindness will grow from your kindness.
Giving, not getting, is the way you should measure your life.
Think about an apple tree. You don't get wormy, mushy apples from a healthy tree.
And you don't get delicious apple from a diseased tree.
Tend to the health of your own heart. Don't let bitterness grow there. What is inside your heart will come out in your words and deeds.
So, as you might be able to tell, today we're talking about enemies. And no, I'm not talking about like arch enemies from movies and stuff like that, or villains. No, we're not talking about that. But I'm sure each of you can think of someone in your life who you don't get along with very well. Maybe it's someone who's at your school, or somebody who's been mean to you or called you names, or like a neighbor who gets angry at you for doing things. It could even be a family member who you don't really get along with very well, and who isn't kind to you. So we can consider any of these, I guess, our enemies, but the main point is those who we don't get along with very well, and those we may not rather be around. Because it's so easy when we're around those people to just to be mean right back to them, or to say an unkind thing back to them, or to not be patient with them, and all these kinds of things. And we won't want to be in that cycle of constantly trying to, all right, they did something bad to me, so I'm going to defend myself and do something bad to them. That's not the place we want to be. So let's think back to our Bible story we just heard. So whenever you're reading the Bible, and even reading a Bible story, it's important to think about what the world may have been like for them at that time. Kind of thinking about, what the culture was like, the things that that was going on with them. So in Jesus' time, when he was talking about paying taxes to Caesar, so there's an interesting thing about this passage, is that Israel, the nation of Israel at that time, was actually being ruled by the Romans. This is another nation that was being ruled by the Romans. And the thing is, the Israelites did not like the Romans at all. And if you think about it, they kind of had a good reason. The Romans weren't nice to them. They were always putting them down. They treated them as less than themselves. And they would pay them, they would make them pay taxes, so they're taking a lot of their money. So the Israelites and the Jews at this time, who already didn't have as much, had even less now because the Romans were taking all this money from them. If Jesus is telling the Jews at this time to love the Romans, who were not kind to them, he's telling us even more so to love the people who aren't kind to us. So I want to read scripture verse for you real quick. This is from Luke chapter 6, verse 45. Once again, Jesus said, "A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and an evil man brings evil out of the evil stored up in his heart. From the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. In another version it says, what you say flows from what is in your heart. So to help illustrate what this means, I have this nice vase here, and I have this pitcher filled with water. And so with this pitcher, you see it's filled with water, right? So what if I said, I wanted this to be full of orange juice, because I like orange juice better. It tastes better, and I think it's more fun, right? It's more fun. So, but I'm pouring it out, and, well, out is still coming water. Even though I want it to be orange juice, I want it to be something that makes me happy and sweet. Orange juice is sweet, but this pitcher is full of water. I can't make it be full of something it's not. And the same is true for our lives and for our hearts. When we are filling our lives with mean thoughts or negative thoughts, or maybe things that aren't kind to other people, well, that's what's going to come out of us. We can't, we may want to have kind things come out of us, but that's what we're thinking about, and we're thinking about how mean the other person was, and we're just bitter, and we're so upset that they did this to us. That's what's going to come out of us, because, as the Bible said, what is in our hearts, what we're full of, is what's going to pour out of us. So an example from my life that I guess I see this quite often is, I don't know if like you guys, maybe when you're really tired. For me, I'm really tired in the evening. In the mornings, I'm pretty good. But in the nighttime, towards the evening, I can get really tired. And sometimes I can get pretty grumpy sometimes. Because, I'm tired. It's not that I'm angry at that person specifically, but because I'm tired, I tend to get, easily upset with people for doing even small things. So it's because I'm filled with that frustration that I can't get sleep, that's pouring out into frustrations at other people, which isn't really fair and it's not really nice. So I have one more scripture verse I want to show you guys. This is from Psalm chapter 19, verse 14. It says, "May these words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer." So God is saying here that he wants the things that we say, the things that we think about, that's where the meditation comes from, the words of our mouth and meditations of our hearts to be pleasing to God always. And if we do that, the things that pour out of us will be sweet like orange juice. All right, and that is it for me today. I will see you guys later.
Are you one of those people that ask the question why a lot? Well, it's totally okay. I totally get that because, like you, I want to understand things, and it's important to understand the whys. Like, why did Jesus say to love those who are mean and unfair? Well, I have some answers to those question whys. So let's look at our flowers that I have in this basket today, and let's see how they answer those questions for us. Why should we be loving and kind to people who are mean and unfair? Because God cares about what is growing in your heart, because he wants your heart to be like his. What is inside your heart will come out in your words and your deeds. That's one of the reasons why. Let's look at this other one here. This one says, Jesus wants you to love others because he loves them. He doesn't want us to be mean or unfair to someone that he loves. That's a good one. And then let's look at this one right here. Other people learn about God's love when we show love to people who don't deserve it. God freely gave us his love when we didn't deserve it, so we should freely give it to others. Wow, those are some really good answers to a really tough question. So I have right here some soil. Have you ever got to plant something in the spring? I know we're talking about spring today. It's kind of fun to plant some things in the springtime and then watch them grow. Well, right here I have some really good soil that will grow any kind of seeds that we put in there if we take really good care of it. So I want us to think about this soil as being your heart. And God told us that it's really important about what we put in our heart because what's in there is going to grow. So I was thinking of a scenario that you and I might go through, and since a lot of people have a hard time getting along with their siblings, I thought we would use one of those. So let's say that you're getting ready for school, and your brother is in the bathroom and he's taking a super long time, and it's going to make you late, and you're kind of mad and you're frustrated because you need to get into the bathroom to get ready as well. Then, after that happens, you go running downstairs and you're late, and now you have to eat your breakfast really fast. So you start eating your breakfast, and your brother starts making fun of your favorite sweatshirt. He says some pretty ugly things about it. And then to top it off, because you are running late, you gather everything you have, you grab your lunch, you grab your books, your coat, you run out to the bus stop. You get to the bus stop, and then your brother gets really mean, and you're like, what is your problem? And he's like, I totally forgot my lunch, and it's all your fault because you wore that ugly sweater or the ugly shirt, and that's all I could think about, and I forgot to bring my lunch. Now, really, is it really your fault that he forgot his lunch? Well, we won't talk about him because right now we're focusing on us, and we're focusing on what we allow in our hearts. So let's take that scenario. What happens when your brother is in the bathroom a really long time and you are getting angry? So let's take your heart and let's put some seeds in there. Let's put some anger in there. Let's put some frustration, and let's put in some, that you just want to yell and be mean back to him. So let's start planting those in the soil. And then let's think of that other situation where he starts making fun of your favorite shirt or sweatshirt or whatever it is that you're wearing. So all of a sudden you have this criticism that you're dealing with. You're dealing with hurt feelings, and you're also frustrated, and maybe there's a little bit of jealousy because maybe you do like your brother's clothing a little bit better than yours, and you wish you had some of his shirts or some of his pants. So you're dealing with all of that. And then last but not least, you're angry, you're bitter, you're resentful, you're filled with unforgiveness, you're mad that your brother blames you. It's not the first time that he's blamed you, and so it just builds and it builds and it builds. So now let's take some of that soil, let's cover up these seeds, but let's talk about this, because in your heart are buried all these seeds that are not good things, right? Jesus has so much better for you. He doesn't want you filled with anger, bitterness, and resentment. He wants instead for you to turn that situation around and do the opposite, because living with all of this inside of your heart is not good for you. So let's look at what Philippians 4 verse 8 has to say. Philippians 4:8 says, "Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise." So rather than focusing on the bad parts of those situations, rather than thinking about all that your brother did and being offended and having unforgiveness, what if, I'm just going to throw it out there, what if you started to think compassionately? You started to try to understand the situation, understand your brother and what he's walking through. What if you did the opposite? Like when he's being nasty to you, you either joke it off or you just don't say anything and you don't let it bother you. Now listen, I'm not asking you to keep those angry feelings or the frustration that you have bottled up inside of yourself. And then, that's never a good thing, because that will explode and be a big mess. And it's really not healthy for you. But what I am saying is that you can take all that you're feeling inside of you and all those feelings, pray about them, give them to God, and start doing things His way. Because when you do things oppositely, believe it or not, you are going to be growing different fruit in your life. Instead of having bitterness and resentment, you'll have compassion, you'll have kindness, you'll have patience, which is very much like the fruit of the Spirit. So when you find yourself in that situation, I'm not saying it's totally easy, but I am saying that if you ask the Holy Spirit to help you, He can turn the situation around, and instead of filling your life up, your heart up with bad seeds, you could put in godly seeds.
So, loving people who aren't really the nicest to you can get really difficult. It's not always going to be the easiest thing, but like everything else with God, it's going to get easier the more you practice it, right? It's always going to be hard to first start off with breaking that cycle of she yelled at me, so I'm going to yell at her, and she's going to yell at me back, and we're just going to go back and forth, right? But that doesn't really help anyone. It just hurts people. But with God's grace and awesome power, we can treat them how we want to be treated and treat them with kindness, respect, love, everything that God teaches us to treat others with, right? So I want you to close your eyes. Think of a person who maybe isn't so nice to you. Maybe it's your brother, someone at school. Now, think about how you might have treated them in the past. Now, I want you to think of how you will treat them now, knowing what God has taught you through His grace and power, right? And we're going to pray that you will treat these people with kindness and respect. And then we're also going to pray that moving forward, you can treat everyone else this way as well. So, God, I pray that you will just lift up our hearts to you, God. Show all of the people that we ever interact with, God, show them your mighty power and grace through us. Allow us to go forth in situations with other people who we may not necessarily get along with. Show us how to treat them with respect. Show them how to treat us. Show us how to treat them with your love and your grace and your mercy, God. I pray that you will just fill our hearts with all of your love and all of your power, God, so that way we can show it to everyone all around the world and even so close to us, God. We praise you and we thank you for what you will do today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now I get to say hello for the first time. I hope you guys had your eyes open throughout this video. And if you haven't, I think you need to go back and rewatch it because you missed some really cool stuff. And if you had your eyes open, I hope you caught all of the items that was floating around in the video. If you missed one or a couple of the items, that's okay because I have the items right here. Awesome. So did you get to put together the big idea before you came to see me? Well, let's say it together. Our enemies helps us to learn to love. That is our big idea. That's great how we can still love people who don't really love us back in return, right? It's a little challenging, but with the help of God, He can help us grow that love more in our hearts. Kind of like what spring does. It grows new things, right? Sad to say, it is time to say goodbye for today. But make sure you tune in for our next series because this is our last season we're going to be talking about. Do you guys know what season we're doing next? We will find out. Anyway, if you can hear all the kids in the background playing, that means it is almost time for spring because outside is feeling so nice. So I'm going to go and join them, and I'll see you guys next time.